All right, so we left off where we drew a image, and today we're going to be kind of drawing some more images, kind of going over the actual canvas with some images. Now, the way we're going to need to do that is we're going to think about the idea of iterating over some stuff or looping. So this is a way of repeating the same thing over and over again. So at the moment, we're kind of drawing sprite. So sprite.draw, that's like the background, if you like, which is this. Maybe we don't want to call it sprite. Maybe this could be called floor or something. I don't know, something that's obviously actually has a floor there. So maybe something else. But literally this itself in the draw function, it just draws one of them. So what we could do is we could draw more than one of them. So let's think about like how we could do this. What can we do here? We can find floor first, because I don't want that to be floor. I want that to be like, I don't know. I'll just call it rock or something. To change that out in the thing here. Instead of sprite, I want to call this floor. Name floor and image of rock. There we go. Now, I want to give this a 0, 0 to start with the XY. And then I'll go down here and say sprite.draw, we want floor.draw. So I'm going to refresh this to make sure everything's working. Nope, I think I broke something. I missed something here. Floor. Oh, is the update also there? Yeah, there we go. So let's refresh that again. There we go. So it's at 0, 0 at the moment, right? So imagine we have that one, that one, that one, that one. So what I want to do is kind of go and fill the whole of this with a bunch of these. Now we know it's 64 pixels by 64. So I want to kind of think, okay, I want the X to be 0, 0, 0, 64, 0, and so on. And basically, I'm just adding 64 every time. So let's think about that. Let's try and draw the image. No, not the image. Where are we? Floor. Here we go. Draw image. This image. This X. So I want to say for, so for loop, XX equals X. Yeah. And now I'll say, okay, what I want to do is I want to say, while XX is less than, shall we say, let's think, canvas dot width XX plus equals 64. So I'm just going to add 64 to it every time. Yeah. And now instead of drawing the image of X, this dot X and this dot Y, I want to say XX and YY. Well, actually, let's just say this dot Y. And I need to change that X to this dot X here so it knows which one I'm talking about. So now what I want to do is refresh the page. And we have a nice little loop of those things, right? So now inside here, I want to do the same for Y. So kind of like I've done here. So I'll just copy this, paste it, close it off. Now, I don't want to do XX and X and all that now. I want to change all these out for Ys. So Y, and instead of width, let's do height. Okay. Now instead of this dot Y, we're swapping out for YY. Now let's refresh. And all of a sudden, we have a floor. That's how simple it is. We've just done what we call a nested loop. We've looped over all the X direction. Then inside here, we're looping over all the Y. So what's happening is we're going, at this point, let's say the first iteration is XX is equal to 0 and YY is equal to 0. But now inside this first loop, this now has to carry on looping. So that's the first iteration. That XX stays at 0 at this point. YY is 0. It draws the image at XXYY, so 0, 0. Next iteration, this for loop, this is YY is equal to 64 because it added 64. And then we draw it again and so on and so forth. It keeps adding 64 until it hits this height of the thing. So it's just drawing downwards all the way. Then what happens is this is finished. So it finishes this loop, finishes this loop, as in it gets to there and goes, okay, now it checks again. Is XX still less than canvas width? Yes, it is. It's at 0. So now we add 64. And YY is its first iteration, and we're at 0. And it draws the image, then it's 64, then draws the image, and so on, and keeps going, and keeps adding 64 until it hits the floor, as in, so the bottom of the screen. And keeps doing this until eventually both of these things here become false. So, as in, when the height has sort of like, if the height has become equal or less than YY and the width has become equal or less than XX, it's finished and it falls out of the for loops and it's finished that function of drawing. So that's basically the concept of what it is that we just did. And we have a floor. And I have no idea where my player's gone. So there he is. Must have went off screen somewhere. But yeah, so there's a nice little sort of floor now. Now we could do this with a lot of different things. We can layer things on top of this. We could have maybe some PNGs of some objects that are around, or we could have some images of like a wall. I mean, this could be a floor. Like I said, this is fine. And then we might have some bricks or something as a wall and just make some walls around places. So you can kind of layer this and make it however you want. For now, that's fine for a floor. That'll do. We don't need to really update the floor at this point because it doesn't really do anything. So it's one of those. Okay, this was quite a short one. Hopefully it made sense. And that's pretty much all I've got for you at the moment. I'll see you in another video. We'll probably think about adding more to this as we go. I haven't quite decided what the next video is yet. Have a good one.